and welcome once again, Prabhu.
Right, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So, Hare Krishna, welcome to all the devotees. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Uh, so, first of all, I'd like to seek blessings of all the Vaishnavas assembled here. Okay, let me share the screen, Prabhu. Share. Yeah, Prabhu, you are able to see the screen. Just let me know.
Yes, Prabhu, we can see.
Yes, we can see now. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So we are reciting the shloka from 4th chapter, 4th canto, 30th chapter, entitled Prachetas, Activities of the Prachetas, verse number 47. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhiraye. Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Tatra vasishtaye vriksha bhita duhitaram tada ujjahruste prachetobhya upadishta swayambhuva. Tatra vasishtaye vriksha bhita duhitaram tada ujjahruste prachetobhya upadishta swayambhuva. Tatra vasishtaye vriksha bhita duhitaram tada ujjahruste prachetobhya upadishta swayambhuva. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Remaining trees, being very much afraid of the Prachetas, immediately delivered their daughter at the advice of Lord Brahma. Purport. The daughter of the trees is referred to in text 13 of this chapter. This daughter was born of Kandu and Pramlocha. The society girl Pramlocha, after giving birth to the child, immediately left for the heavenly kingdom. While the child was crying, the king of the moon took compassion upon her and saved her by putting his finger into her mouth. This child was cared for by the trees. When she grew up, by the order of Lord Brahma, she was delivered to the Prachetas as their wife. The name of the girl was Marisha, as the next verse will explain. It was the predominating deity of the trees that delivered the daughter. In this connection, Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada states, Vriksha Tat Adhishtatra Devata. The trees means the controlling deity of those trees. In Vedic literatures, we find that there is a controlling deity of the water. Similarly, there is a controlling deity of the trees. The Prachetas were engaged in burning all the trees to ashes, and they considered the trees their enemies. To pacify the Prachetas, the predominating deity of the trees, under the advice of Lord Brahma, delivered the daughter of Marisha. Umagyanatimirandhasya jnananjanashalakaya चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkrupa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So I would like to welcome all the devotees again. Today's morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. I humbly seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas so that I can speak something in line with parampara for my own purification. So so here in this chapter we have seen how the Prachetas, they have performed a severe penance for 10,000 years under the water, under the guidance of Lord Shiva, and then they've got the darshan of the Lord. Just few verses before they've got the audience with the Lord, and Lord has blessed them profusely with all the with all the opulences and everything. And then he was telling that the daughter of the trees, so you'll be marrying the daughter of the trees, like that. So now so I was actually going through the one of the devotees who has given this lecture, so I was going through that. So when the prachetas, they came outside, they have seen that there are completely, the whole earth was covered with the trees. It is there, it's complete covering was happening. So they've got so much furious, they're very much angry, and from their mouth they emitted the fire and they're burning all the trees into ashes. So that is what was happening, and that's the context of the current shloka. And no, that the previous shlokas. And what happened was, so when they are very furious, Lord Brahma came down and he pacified Prachetas. And by obeying the order of Brahma, Prachetas have stopped, causing further burning, further harm to the trees. And then the deity of the trees, he came along with his daughter Marisha. So and then he has given the daughter. So now, so what Prabhuji was telling is, Prachetas, they just got the audience from the Lord. They're pure devotees actually. Their heart was completely pure. How come they become angry? So how to understand that? See, when a conditioned soul becomes angry, it is understood. But when the pure devotee is becoming angry, how to understand that? So that is one thing. So the same thing we see even in Dhruva's case also. Dhruva Maharaj got the audience from the Lord, and then after that he was killing yakshas like anything. He became completely angry and he was killing yakshas. So how to understand this anger of the pure devotees? There are two different perspectives one can understand. I'm just telling that one is, all the pure devotees, although they are they're pure at heart, they they actually perform. They never fail to perform their prescribed duties. So that's what. So that means that so they are not obliged to perform the work, but still they perform the work because they think that they are very fallen. And to set a good example also, as said in the Bhagavad Gita. So Prachetas, being the Kshatriyas, the prescribed duty of the Kshatriyas is to rule over the subjects, and whichever comes in that way, actually they have to eliminate. So for them, in order to give proper nourishment to all the citizens and all, they consider the trees to be like an obstruction. That is why they are very angry. So it is because of their prescribed duties they are becoming angry. And also it's not for them, for the others. Also the pure devotees, they are never concerned about themselves, they are always concerned about others. Okay, so here prachetas, because they have to rule the subjects nicely and they have to provide them nicely, that is why they become angry at the trees, so that everything can be properly given to the citizens. That is the first point. And the second point is, as I said, uh, Dhruva Maharaj, if you take the case of Dhruva Maharaj, he actually was not fighting for himself. He is fighting because his brother Uttama was killed by the Yakshas. In order to avenge the death of his brother, so he has actually raised a war against this. So this is actually a dharma of a Kshatriya also. So Prabhuji was mentioning that in the Kurukshetra war, if you see, on I think some 16th or 7th day, 17th day or something, the Yudhishthira Maharaj was defeated by Karna. So when Yudhishthira Maharaj came back to the camp, and Karna was also wanting to see what Yudhishthira was doing at the camp. So he came back and yeah. So he came back, and Yudhishthira Maharaj was thinking that Arjuna will kill Karna, but Arjuna wanted to see how Yudhishthira Maharaj is doing. He came back, so Yudhishthira Maharaj became very angry. He was telling that it is the duty of a Kshatriya to avenge the death of an year one, avenge the defeat or death of an year one. So so you should immediately fight with Karna. Why you came back? That's what he's telling. You should not come back. So you better you fight with Karna and then come back. That's what he was telling. So it is a duty of a Kshatriya to actually take revenge for the near and dear ones, for the defeat and all. So that time he was scolding Arjuna, and Arjuna became he was scolding Arjuna and told that Arjuna, you better put your Gandiva bow down, because you are a eunuch, you are not you are a coward. You didn't fight with Karna and you came to me. That's what he's telling. So Arjuna became very angry because Arjuna took a vow that whoever asks me to put my Gandiva bow down, I will kill him. So he's confused. That time Krishna was telling him, telling Arjuna that don't worry, for Kshatriya, insult is worse than death. So you better give some words of insult to Yudhishthira. That is sufficient. No need to kill him. So Arjuna was telling him that it is because of you we are got into this predicament and all this thing. Because in the Sabha itself, both Bhima and Arjuna wanted to attack Duryodhana and Dushashana, but Yudhishthira Maharaj who was stopping them. So it is because of you all this was happening, all these things he was telling that. So that is why it is a duty of a Dhruva actually to avenge that. That is one reason. And the second one, he's telling that many times we see Prabhupada, he has done so much of great things. It is humanly impossible. And also we all know that he's a Shakti Avesa avatar of the Lord. So in one of the Vyas Puja offerings, Anuttama Prabhu was mentioning that some devotees they may stating this that Srila Prabhupada is Saktyavis avatar, he could do anything, but I am very small Prabhu, I cannot do anything. So all these things, if some devotees may tell, but he was telling that apart from seeing the transcendental greatness of Prabhupada, we have to see the transcendental smallness of Prabhupada. What is the meaning of that? All the struggles that Srila Prabhupada had to go through, and how he is taking shelter in those times, that is all actually it's a great lesson for all of us, how we should all be taking shelter when we are in difficult times. So he's telling that we should see the human facet of Srila Prabhupada also. Yes, Srila Prabhupada is Shakti Avais avatar without a doubt, but we have to see the human facet, what all struggles he had undergone, how much struggle he had actually took to establish the League of Devotees in Jhansi, how much struggle he has taken to establish the ISKCON movement. All these things we have to very much contemplate on. We have to take lessons from that thing. So so that it is simply to see them as pure devotees is okay, but we need to understand the other side of them also, how they are taking shelter when there is a difficulty, and we should all be taking that. So now we can see here the same very much similarities in the same Prachetas and Dhruva's case. Prachetas were very angry. They have got the audience of the Lord, and after that they became very angry. Lord Brahma came and pacified, and immediately what happened? They've stopped. They've actually took the guidance of Brahmaji and they've stopped superiors, and they've stopped, and the deity of trees came and given their daughter. If you see the Dromara's case, he has also got the audience of the Lord, and he became angry after that Yakshas. And Swayambhava Manu, who is his great grandfather, who is his grandfather, yeah. So he came, and then he was actually giving the guidance, and by hearing that instructions, Dhromaras was pacified. And what happened? The time Kuvera, who is the brother of Lord Shiva, who is the leader of the Yaksha race, he came and then given the some boons to Dromara. It is actually very very parallel. So so Prabhuji was telling that although they are pure devotees, they are willing to take guidance of the superiors even after becoming pure devotees also. So this is one wonderful quality that we all have to see, that sometimes devotees may think that I should take association of devotees, guidance of superiors only till I become Krishna Prem, only if, till I get the Krishna Prem, but after that no need of thing. But he was telling that no, no, no. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling to Sanatana Goswami one nice shloka. I have already opened it. So you can see here, Prabhu, you are able to see this shloka, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Hare Bol.
You can see, Prabhu.
Yeah, Mataji, there is a verse I'm showing, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela. You are able
That
to
we
see
cannot
that?
see. That we cannot see.
Ah, okay, okay. Probably I think it is only this thing, one thing is shared. Okay,
You
let
can
me.
unshare this and then share that verse, Prabhu.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ha, ha, ha. Okay, okay, yeah. So share screen. So entire screen I'll just put it so that it will be easy. Yeah. Uh, now share. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now you are able to see Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu. We can
Yeah,
see.
yeah. Now I have shared the entire screen. So he's telling that you see here, Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Haye Sadhu Sangha Krishna Prema Janmete Ho Puna Mukhya Anga. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling here that the root cause of devotional service to Lord Krishna is association with advanced devotees. Even when one's dormant love for Krishna awakens, still association with devotees is still most essential. You see that? So here, so it is not that I need association only till I get Krishna Prema. After that, no, it is still more very very essential thing to have an advanced to have an association of devotees. So so now Prabhuji was telling in detail about how Dromara's this one entire pastime with the yakshas. So I will also cover briefly before we go to the next sloka. So we all know Dromara's Uttama was killed, and Dromara's he became very angry, and then he went to Alakapuri where the yakshas reside. So so he was like one person against so many yakshas. They are all very very powerful mystics, and it is like 1,30,000 yakshas versus one person. He is so like that powerful. He was like giving arrows, throwing arrows like anything, one after other, one after other, and then they were also throwing arrows. It is said that he is like a mountain. Dharmara's body is like a mountain, and all the arrows that are coming from the Yakshas is like the incessant rains that are pouring on the Dharmara's body. So mountain. So Dromaras, he was like so powerful. He could kill most of the Yakshas, and whoever is left, they were all trying to fled away. They're all trying to run away out of fear for Dhruvaras. So that is what happening. And then at one point of time, he wanted to enter into the Alkapuri inside city and see are there any other Yakshas. At that time, there was a great mystical illusion that was actually created by the Yakshas. From the entire sky became very cloudish, and all the nasty substances, blood, mucus, everything, they were all pouring down from the sky, and there are a lot of lions, tigers, snakes, all these, they're all coming. By seeing this, Dhruva Maharaj became very bewildered. He became very confused. So at that time, we all know the sages, they all came, to Dhruva Maharaj and instructed him that, it is only because of the Lord's holy names one can come out of this illusion. So the same with the people who actually in the material world, there is so much of illusion is there. So in order to come out of that, the only refuge is actually the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. So when they instructed that, Dhruva Maharaj immediately took the Narayana Astra. He has actually took the Achaman and then he chanted the Narayana Astra and invoked it. So when he released that, the entire mystic illusion, it was all actually removed off. So Prabhupada was telling in that purport. So what is that Narayanastra? Narayanastra is actually the holy name of Lord only. Krishna Varnam, Tvisha Krishnam, Sangopangastra Parshadam, Yagnai, Sankirtana Prai, Yajanti Smed. Sangopangastra. What is that astra that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came with? He came with the holy name of Krishna. So when somebody chants the holy name of Krishna under the bona fide devotee's instruction, then he may be able to come out of this illusion. That's what the lesson Puja was mentioning. And then, so he was again he was continuing the killing of Yakshas. That time Swayambhava Manu came. So he was, so Dhromara's father is Uttanapada, his father is Swayambhava Manu, and his father is Brahma. So he's actually a grandfather. So Swayambhava Manu came, and then he was telling different reasons why Dhruvaras should not be killing incessantly, should not be killing like that. So he was giving 9 reasons basically. Prabhupada was discussing about the 9 reasons. So we'll just go ahead briefly on those 9 reasons before we go to the next one. So what is the first reason Swayambhava Manu tells is, see, the Kshatriya killing is not bad because it is his duty. If there is any problem, he has to kill. But the killing of the killing unnecessarily and killing of the innocent people is actually bad. Why? Because it opens the doors to hell. That's what he said. So see, one Yaksha killed Uttama, that's fine. So you killed that Yaksha, but why all the other Yakshas who are innocent and they are not part of that crime, right? So why you are killing that? That's the first reason he is telling that. So in one of the purports, Srila Prabhupada writes that the whole massacre of the or wars of the human race is happening only because of unnecessary killing of the animals in the slaughterhouses. So one time, Srila Prabhupada, along with disciples, they're all walking through one big billboard. In that billboard was written 50 million hamburgers were sold. Hamburgers. So Srila Prabhupada walked a little ahead and he said 50 million sent to people sent to hell. That's what he said. Because it is actually unnecessary when people are killing the animals, they are bound to go to the hell. So that is how it is. So the second one is he's telling that it is not approved. Swayambhava Manu giving the second reason is it is not approved as per the previous authorities. Karma etat sat vigarhitam. So it is not approved by the authorities. So every human being, he should act actually as per the standard set by the previous acharyas. That is very, very important. So it is said that dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya. There is a shloka, right? Tarko apratishtaha shrutayo vivinnaha. So if you try to understand God by all your logic and all these arguments and things like that, you will never be able to come to the proper conclusive conclusion. What is the best way to understand God and all the dharmic principle is dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya. So the principles of dharma are very, very confidentially kept, and that is by following in the footsteps of Mahajan. Mahajano yena gata sapantha. So, so this is what is very important. So he's giving an example. One time Srila Prabhupada was giving a darshan in one of the temples, and one professor from one of the universities, he came, and he was in a very arrogant and pride way. He was asking Prabhupada, Prabhupada, where it is told that we need to chant the holy names of Krishna, and he was telling verse after verse from the Vedanta Sutra. So many verses he was telling. So Prabhupada was patiently listening all this. He was actually taking darshan of Lord Jagannath. So it is said that he was like a lion ready to pounce upon that person. He was simply waiting, and then once it is done, Prabhupada was asked, "So are you done with all your questions?" And then he was telling so many references of the chanting of the holy name, verse after verse. This Upanishad, Purana, and this Acharya, so many verses, almost like 15, 20 minutes he was keep on telling. And during that thing, that person, he understood, he was becoming humble and humbler and humbler. And at the end of that answer, he was telling, Prabhupada was telling that, so are you convinced? Anything else? Like that he was asked. So this person tell that, yes Prabhupada, why don't we chant Hare Krishna and do some kirtan? Like that he was telling. So Prabhupada always quotes the authorities. It is you see when Prabhupada lecture also, he will tell one principle, immediately he will quote one authority. Tell one principle, immediately quote one authority, or from the Bhagavatam, from the Acharyas anyway. So this is what is the speciality. This is what is so Srila Prabhupada is always following the authority. So how important one needs to follow. So if something is not according to the previous authorities, one should not be doing it. So this is the second reason Swayambhu gives. The third reason is, he tells that it is not befitting to your family. Why? Because your family, they have never done anything like this, heinous things. If you see Swayambhava Manu, I didn't do, Uttanapad, he didn't do, and you are also should not be doing it, because it actually affects your family tradition. So in one lecture, I think one devotee was telling that, I think Govind Prabhu is telling that, so Parikshit Maharaj, when he was cursed, actually he had a power to counteract as well. But he didn't counteract. Why? Because it is his family business. It is his family duty, that to persevere and to be patient during the times of difficulty. If you see Kunti Maharani, she was always tolerating. If you see Pandavas, they are also always tolerating. So Parikshit Maharaj also the same family. So it is the family affair that to this one. So that is why it is very important to keep up the traditions of the family, especially when Dhruva Maharaj is coming from such a great lineage. It is very important to act as per the family traditions. So that is the third reason, that it is not befitting your this one. And the fourth reason is, you are a great devotee. You are a great sadhu. So as a sadhu, it should not befit you. Why? Because you should not engage in something, because a devotee is someone who actually engages his senses for the higher purpose, to engage in Lord service, not for the downgrading, degraded purposes. Correct? So he was telling one example of one time, Srila Prabhupada, one Vrindavan, there is one devotee, so-called devotee. He was actually a Hindi-speaking devotee. He was talking to Prabhupada also in Hindi. So he, in the name of a devotee, he was just doing some business and exploiting the devotees, selling some items of his choice and cheating them. And he was keeping 2 rooms in the guest house in Vrindavan. He was telling, he was in the, so when Srila Prabhupada came to know about that, he became very, very furious. He told that the temple president, that take him away, send him away out of the, because he told that guest house is for the guests, not for the devotees, and he's actually unnecessarily taking and exploiting the devotees. So he was telling, I think Navya Yogendra Swami Maharaj was telling that, see, just like an eagle may soar very, very high in the sky, but all of its focus on one dead body on the ground. So we are giving him an opportunity to rise high in the spiritual life, but his mentality is always in a mode of a business and cheating the devotees. So that is why it is not fit for him to stay here. So better to send him off, like that he's telling. So why he's telling this? So this is that does not befit one's position. So the as a devotee, one has to engage in the higher service, not in the lower service, like that. So he's telling that's the fourth point. And the fifth point is Lord is there in everyone's heart. Bhuta was correct. So so Lord is there in this Yaksha's heart also. Correct. So we should not be. That means there's a temple of the Lord. So you should not be unnecessarily killing all the Yakshas. Why? At one point, Srila Prabhupada, after giving the initiation, he was asking one devotee, "Do you know all the rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness?" He was asking the devotee, and that devotee was quite new. He told he was like kept mum. He didn't able to say, and he was telling, "Do you know purpose of a Krishna conscious moment?" But he was mum. He was keeping silent. So Prabhupada, he immediately came down out of the Vyasasan, and he took one ant, and he was telling that to our purpose of a Krishna conscious movement is to give salvation to this ant. That's what he was telling. So that means he was telling that we need to see the soul and the super soul in all the living entities, not just the humans, everyone, and to give the compassion to everyone, the opportunity for Krishna conscious to everyone. This is the purpose of a Krishna conscious movement. He was telling that. So that is the way that the fifth reason Swayam was telling that Lord is there in everyone's heart, so you should not be unnecessarily being killed. The sixth reason is he was telling that the qualities like mercy, tolerance, friendship, and equality. These four are very very important. Why? Because they are very very dear to Krishna. Okay, so we need to cultivate. Just forgive them, and let them go. So no need, because it pleases Krishna. So he's telling one nice example of Prabhupada that so one time how Prabhupada was very tolerating. One time Prabhupada came to the Detroit temple, and all the nearby devotees, west coast, east coast, all the devotees are gathering. From last few days they were doing so much of arrangements for the Prabhupada's arrival. And when Prabhupada was the next day, he is giving Bhagavatam class, everybody sat. And as soon as they sat, they immediately start drowsing, because they were doing a lot of work, and they felt drowsy, and they were all almost sleeping. So Prabhupada was giving a lecture about how Krishna is he by his mercy only everything runs. He was giving on that context, and when he saw the devotees, all the devotees were sleeping. So that time he was telling that yes, it is only by the mercy of Krishna only the moment is running. That's what he's telling. So that means how he is tolerating the neophyte devotee, how he is tolerating the devotees is telling. And the other equality of Prabhupada is that so one time so whenever Prabhupada comes, all the local leaders, everyone, they all will come with so much of expensive garlands and everything. They all come with so much of paraphernalia. So they are all giving that expensive garlands, very fresh fragrant flowers to Prabhupada. That time one devotee from one of the Sankirtana leader party, he came. So he was rushing on the way. He was actually collecting some forest flowers, very very tiny forest flowers. And then when he came there, he saw so much of gorgeous flowers were being decorated to Prabhupada. He was feeling ashamed. If I know how do I give this to Prabhupada, it's very simple. But Prabhupada immediately took all the expensive flowers aside, and he took that flower garland of forest flower, and he was telling it's so beautiful, very nice, because Radharani also gives that same forest kind of forest flowers to Krishna. That's what he's telling. So it is not that the equality aspect of Prabhupada. So it's very, very important that one has to cultivate these qualities like that. So this is the sixth one. Seventh one is telling that this is all because of karma. It is not a fault of Yakshas, because the Uttama is supposed to get killed, and he's got his karma. So it is not the fault of Yakshas also. Correct. So it is said that don't blame the instrument of your own karma. That's what it is said. So it is the seventh reason, that it's all karma, so we should not be unnecessarily angry. The eighth reason he was telling is, anyway, he is not the body, so he just killed Uttama's body only, but we are not the body, we are the spirit soul, right? So why unnecessarily you are taking so much of this one? So it's just the body, so just leave. And the ninth reason he was telling is See, the leader of Yakshas is Kuvera, who is the brother of Lord Shiva. If he becomes angry, you will be in trouble. Okay, so better not to offend Kuvera. So by seeing all these, by hearing all these instructions, Dhruva Maharaj got pacified and he immediately stopped. And immediately Kuvera came onto the scene and he's so pleased. He asked him, "Do you want any boons, or Benedict? Do you want any boons? Please take." The Dhruva Maharaj said, "No, no, I don't want any boon. I want to remember the lotus feet of Krishna always." So that is a boon he is asking. So similarly, the Prachetas also the same incident you can see here. So Prachetas also they also stopped by the guidance and instructions of Brahma, and the daughter of the trees, who is Marisha, she was given to the Prachetas by the deity of the trees. So that is what yeah, so happened, and then we'll go to the next shloka. Yeah, okay. So Teja Brahmana Adeshan Marisham Upaye Mire Yasya Mahad Avagnanat Ajanayo Following the order of Lord Brahma, all the Prachetas accepted the girl as their wife. From the womb of this girl, the son of Lord Brahma named Daksha took birth. Daksha had to take birth from the womb of Marisha due to his disobeying and disrespecting Lord Mahadeva. Consequently, he had to give up his body twice. Purport. In this connection, the word Mahad Avagnanat is significant. King Daksha was the son of Lord Brahma. Therefore, in a previous birth, he was a Brahmana. But because of his behaving like a non Brahmana, a Brahmana, by insulting or disrespecting Lord Mahadeva, he had to take birth within the semen of a Kshatriya. That is to say, he became the son of Prachetas. Not only that, but because of his disrespecting Lord Shiva, he had to undergo the tribulation of taking birth from within the womb of a woman. In the Daksha Yagna arena, he was once killed by Lord Shiva's servant Veerabhadra. Because that was not sufficient, he again took birth from the womb of Marisha. At the end of the Daksha Yagna and the disastrous incidents there, Daksha offered his prayer to Lord Shiva. Although he had to give up his body and take birth from the womb of a woman impregnated by the semen of a Kshatriya, he received all opulence by the grace of Lord Shiva. These are the subtle laws of material nature. Unfortunately, people in this modern age do not know how these laws are working. Having no knowledge of the eternity of the spirit soul and its transmigration, the population of the present is in the greatest ignorance. Because of this, it is said in the Bhagavatam 1.1.10, Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Hyupadhrata. The total population in this age of Kali Yuga is very bad, lazy, unfortunate, and disturbed by material conditions. So this is one of the very practical lessons everybody we all can understand that if you take the Bhagavatam, it's all about do's and don'ts. How somebody has developed love for the Lord, what all things he has done to develop the love for the Lord, how somebody has actually offended someone and it took a lot of time to attain that love. So, what are the do's, what are the don'ts, how it can be avoided? All these things are discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam. So, now here, Prachetas, they all have accepted the Marisha as their wife, and from them the Lord Daksha took birth. Daksha Prajapati, we all know the Daksha Yagna, it happened. And Prabhuji was mentioning that Daksha Yagna, actually it happened in the Swayambhuva Manvantara, that is the first Manvantara, Swayambhuva Manvantara. And this incident, this Prachetas incident, happened in the Chakshusha Manvantara. Chakshusha, that is the sixth Manvantara, and we are in seventh Manvantara, Vaivaswata Manvantara. So what happened to Daksha is, after that, Daksha offended Lord Shiva. He was actually thinking that he is my son-in-law, and he is actually seeing Lord Shiva with a materialistic outlook only. So because of that, he offended Lord Shiva verbally. So much of blasphemy happened, and then there was a big fight, and Veerabhadra, the servant of Lord Shiva, he actually took out the head of Daksha Prajapati, and then he actually begged forgiveness from Lord Shiva. So, so what happened? Prabhuji was telling that according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, what happened in between these five Manvantaras is Daksha Prajapati, he actually begged forgiveness to Lord Shiva, and then he did a tremendous penance and austerity for five manvantaras in order to take birth again. So five manvantaras, he did the severe penance and he begged forgiveness. Later, he got the body from the prachetas, but still it is a lower birth only compared. Why? Because uh, earlier he was actually a son of Brahma. He was actually a Brahmana birth, and it was a transcendental birth. It was not an ordinary birth from a womb. Correct, from a womb of a mother. It was not an ordinary birth. It was a transcendental birth, and he's got so much of power, opulence, and everything. So much is there. But now, although he has got all the opulences back by the mercy of Lord Shiva, and because of the two reasons, because he begged forgiveness, and penances he did. Because of that, he has got all the opulences back. But still, that was a lower birth only. Why? Because he took a birth of an ordinary birth, like coming from the womb of a mother. And second one is, it is a kshatriya, which is one step lower than a brahmana. Correct. So in a sense, it is a little lower birth only, and then because he has got all the opulences back. So it is said Daksha had to take birth from the womb of Marisha due to his disobeying and disrespecting Lord Mahadeva. Consequently, we had to give up his body twice. Yeah. So here, Prabhuji was telling that it is actually very, very important that a sadhaka needs to have a healthy fear of not offending or offending. He should know what is the nature of when one commits an offense. What is offense, when somebody can commits offense, and what happens if somebody commits offense. All these things he should actually keep on contemplating on that. So somebody may think that, okay, let's not it is too much of thing. If we stay with the devotees, then only the offense. So let's not stay with the devotees only. Let me live alone. There is another way of see, because it is not going to help one, because it is said that association is like a fire. If the fire is utilized properly, then there is so much of constructive things can happen. You can nicely cook and offer to Lord, and you can do so many. The fire can be used as an electricity, and so many other things it can be used. But if the fire is not handled properly, then the same fire will burn. Correct. So the association is like that. So if somebody knows properly how to deal with Vaishnavas and properly deal it, deal, and then he will go nicely up in the spiritual life. But the same association, if somebody doesn't know, then he may degrade himself. Just like Daksha, he has degraded himself from the Brahmana birth to the Kshatriya birth because of disrespecting and disobeying Lord Shiva. So he was telling that. So there are two kinds of people are there. One is pious, and other one is asuras. What is the meaning of asuras? He's telling that asuras means basically one who is in passion and ignorance. In the sense, the asuric mentality, that is actually what is the meaning of asuric mentality. He was telling a shloka from Bhagavad Gita, that is this one: dambo darpo. I'll just ah, okay, so I'll 16.4. Yeah. So this is the asuric mentality. Krishna has told in the Bhagavad Gita. You can see the dambho, darpo, abhimanascha, krodha, parushyamevacha, agnanam cha abhijatasya, partha sampada masurim. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demoniac nature, O son of Pritha. So Prabhuji was telling those who are, these are actually arising from the passion and ignorance. At least we should come to the mode of goodness in order to be pious. So pious and asuras. So it is said that what happens when somebody offends a Vaishnava, what happens? It is said that yeah, correct. So this is the shloka he was quoting, that you can see here in the Bhagavatam it is there. Ayur harati vaipumsa udyan astam chayan asau tasyarde yat kshano nita uttama shloka vartaya. Means, oh no, no, not this one. Yeah, this is about how one should utilize this day and by hearing the glories of the Lord. There is another one, Ayushriya Yasho Dharma. Let me try to see if I can get it. Ayushya Yasho Dharma. 10446, correct. Yeah. So this is the one. 10446. 10446. Yeah, correct. So this is the one. So it's telling that you see here, Ayu Shriya Yasho Dharma Lokan Asisha Yevacha Hanti Shriyamsi Sarvani Pumso Mahat Atikramaha. If somebody does the Atikrama to a Mahat, what happens? Okay, this is this one. Okay, I'll take it to English. Yeah, right. Yeah. So my dear king, when a man persecutes great souls, all his benedictions of longevity, beauty, fame, religion, blessings, and promotion to higher planets, everything will be destroyed. So that means that whatever the blessings one may have received, they all will be taken away if somebody offends a great Vaishnava. So this is very important, that one needs to have a healthy fear, that one has to conduct properly, not to offend that. Okay, so that one. So he is probably just telling that. So what is meaning of dambha? Dambha means the subtle pride. Subtle pride. It may not be external, but it is a subtle pride. Darpa means the external pride. In the sense, he actually starts expecting from others that he has to respect me. He has to do what I want. All these things. This is an external thing that is called darpa. That's a pride. The expectation comes up. And what happens when somebody does not obey him? He becomes krodha. He becomes angry. And we all know angry, when angry means the momentary madness. It is said krodha bhavati sammoha smriti vibrama, means all that is there in the memory, everything is lost when somebody becomes krodha. Correct. So whatever we heard or whatever we know, all these what to be done, everything will be erased when somebody becomes angry. So what happens, that he becomes parushya. Parushya means what? He becomes very harsh in dealing with others, in terms of speech, in terms of behavior, everything he becomes very harsh. So this all starts from the subtle pride, that is dambha. And what is the dambha? Dambha means, see, everybody has got some talent by the mercy of Krishna. Some talent he has got. So whatever the facilities that we have got, it is a natural that one becomes this one. But when we contemplate that, where is the source from all this that is coming? Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that Balan Balavatam Chaham Buddhir Buddhimatam Cha. I am the intelligence of the intelligent. I am the strength of the strong. All these things Krishna was telling. Why? Because we can become humble. We can be that. So even if I'm moving my finger, that's all because of mercy of Krishna. If Krishna doesn't will, I will not be do anything. So the more and more one contemplates on that, one can come out of the subtle pride of it. So that it's very important that one has to come out of that subtle pride as well. So, and then, so what is the root cause of all these offenses? What is the root cause of all these offenses? It is actually the materialistic outlook of everything. So the materialistic outlook of the holy name, of the Vaishnavas, of the deities, of the scriptures, of the dham, of everything, whatever seva, everything. If we see it materialistic point of view, we are bound to commit offenses. So the spiritual perspective we need to develop. And how to do that spiritual perspective? We need to hear more and more from the realized souls, from the devotees, that what is the position of all these items, like what is the deity? The deity is nothing but, deity is none other than Lord Krishna himself. Out of his great mercy he is actually manifested. And then what is the holy name? Glories of the holy name, glories of devotees. The more one contemplates on this thing, one can come out of that uh, offensive mentality. So yeah, so another verse he's telling that yeah, this is the one, nirmana moha jita sanga dosha. This is actually 15.5. So the context he's telling is, let me just tell this. Yeah, so it is said nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama dvandvair vimukta sukadukka samne gachyanta muda padamavyayanta. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association. What is the meaning of false association? He's telling that the real association means that which takes us close to Krishna. Whatever is the apart from that is actually a false association. So, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender unto the Supreme, attain to the eternal kingdom. So it's very important that one has to get away this false prestige. That is actually, I am something, me and mine. So I can do something. All these things, one has to come out of it, false prestige. Then one will be able to achieve the eternal kingdom. So that's what, yeah. So, and we'll just go ahead and see just another 3 4 minutes. We'll see. So, in the previous sloka, Prabhupada was telling that in the text number 13, the story of Kandu and Pramloja that was there. So we can just see what happened with that thing. Okay. So this is actually text number 13. You can see here, O sons of King Prachina Parikshit. This is actually Lord himself is telling. The heavenly society girl named Pramlocha kept the lotus-eyed daughter of Kandu in the care of forest trees. Then she went back to the heavenly planet. This daughter was born by the coupling of the Apsara named Pramlocha with the sage Kandu. So it is said, whenever a great sage undergoes a severe austerities, the king of heaven, Indra, becomes very envious. All the demigods have responsible posts for the management of universal affairs and are very high qualified. Although they are ordinary living entities, they are able to attain responsible posts like Lord Brahma, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, as is the nature of the material world. The king of heaven, Indra, is very anxious if a great sage undergoes severe austerity. So this is what we have seen again and again, how Indra becomes very insecure when somebody is doing a lot of tapasya and a lot of austerity. So he sent actually Pramlocha, who is a society girl from the heavenly planet, and the Kondu, the sage Kondu, they had a union and they've given a birth to a daughter, and she immediately left. And what happens to the daughter? It is said in the next shloka that thereafter, the child who was left to the care of a trees began to cry in hunger. At that time, the king of the forest, namely the king of the moon planet, out of compassion, placed his finger, which poured forth nectar within the child's mouth. Thus, the child was raised by the mercy of king of moon. So that is how she was raised and grown up as a daughter of a trees. And in the next shloka, it is said, since all of you are very much obedient to my orders, I ask you to immediately marry that girl who is very well qualified with beauty and good qualities according to the order of your father. Create progeny through her. In the purport, Prabhupada writes, so the Prachetas not only were great devotees of Supreme Lord, but were very obedient to the orders of their father. Therefore, the Lord asked them to marry the daughter Pramlocha. Yeah. In the next sloka, again it's told, you brothers are all of the same nature, being my devotees and obedient sons of your father. Similarly, that girl is also of the same type and is dedicated to all of you. Thus, both the girl and you, the sons of Prachina Barshit, are on the same platform, being united on a common principle. Yeah. So this is what the marriage is all about, uniting on a common principle. So that's very important. So here in the purport, Prabhupada is telling it is not it is prohibited in Kali Yuga that a girl marries multiple husbands. But in previous yugas, if a person is very qualified, in special instances, however, it is found out a woman has married more than a husband. Draupadi, for instance, because she was very well qualified. So like that, it is not allowed in Kali Yuga. That's what he's telling there. And yeah, so at the meaning of Ignardhat Karmano Nyatra Lokoyam Karma Bandhana. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, all the work will bind. So there is one of the important principles of the marriage as well. Yeah. So Prabhu Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhu, I think it's already 8:10, Prabhuji, so we can conclude the session, Prabhu.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. I think so many points came up so nicely. Got
Prabhu, I just
brought them all.
repeated. I just
Brought them
repeated.
all
more.
so so nicely. Brought them all together. In fact, the very first thing that comes out when these shlokas are read is how for our like the nuances that are there, in the material mind, our minds, that concocts, and then we end up judging the great Vaishnavas like the Prachetas in this case, and then about the example of Dhruva Maharaj, where we see another nuance there, very similar. So, and then you also explain those various angles from which one is looking at it, and then they're giving reasons. The authority is giving reasons so that they are able to stop that particular activity. So there is authority involved, then there is listening to the authority, and then there is the scriptures. Everything is there, from the various angles, from the angle of logic, saying that, why you have to kill everyone when only one person has made a mistake, who pleasing the Lord, who developing good qualities, karma, scriptures, all of it so wonderfully covered. And then, of course, we also saw the character of Daksha, and then how he atones, and then he is born here. And then you also gave wonderfully so many references from the scriptures, from Bhagavad Gita, from the Bhagavatam, and then you covered the entire philosophy of our this thing, where you brought out the importance of Harinam, of association, and then of how to be free from vices, and how sacrifice to Vishnu is the prime. So wonderfully across, Prabhu. So thank you so much for that. I'd request the devotees to kindly unmute, and then if you have any comments or any questions, please go ahead. I'm sure Prabhu will be more than happy to take it. So devotees, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhu, you gave so many reasons for why you can get angry and so many reasons not to get angry. Dharma is so subtle, it sometimes becomes very difficult to decide what to do, Prabhu, really. So maybe we should think about the Lord to please him and then decide, no, Prabhu?
Yeah, that's one. The best is to take the guidance from the superiors, Mataji, as was case with Dhruva Maharaj and Prachetas.
So there are no superiors. What to do? If there are no superiors, then
so if there are no superiors, we have that's what we have. Prabhupada books are there. So that's what, Mataji. The thing is, like, we have Paramatma. If we are very sincere that if we want to please Krishna, Krishna is there in the heart, right? So he actually inspires some devotee to help us, Mataji. So the only thing is we need to be sincere. If we are sincere, all the help will come automatically. And we have so much of guidance in the form of Prabhupada books and lectures and association. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Very excellent class. Dandavat.
Yeah, Prabhu, and also again brought out the aspect of how the will of the Lord, Supreme Lord, is higher than the will or the desire of the individual. So that was a very important aspect that got covered. So thank you so much.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
So are there any other comments or questions anybody has? Devotees? Okay, I think we can conclude, Prabhu. That should be all right. So yes, we can conclude with Vaishnava Pranams. So please go ahead.
Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnava vrinda ki jai, Srila
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. So thank you so much, all the devotees, for tolerating me. Please pray for me that I become a sincere Vaishnava like all of you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dhanavad Pranam.
Dhanavad pranam, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you once again.
Hare
So
Krishna.
thank you, devotees. Wishing you all a wonderful day. So we will end the session for all now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.